Monitor and control project work is a monitoring and controlling process that occurs in the integration knowledge area. This is kind of a generic process, if you will, that basically compares our baseline of various things such as scope, schedule, cost, etc., to actual related information so we know if we're on track in the good side of schedule and budget and the bad side of schedule and budget or what have you. And so when we think about this, we can compare actual performance against the project management plan, which is going to include a lot of baselines. We can assess performance to determine if preventative or corrective action is warranted, then recommending the appropriate action. Remember, preventative is proactive, corrective is reactive. We can check the status of individual project risks. We can maintain an accurate information base or knowledge base regarding the project's products. And we can provide information for status reporting, progress metrics, and forecasting as well. So like I said, this is a good kind of generic baseline actual comparison process that helps us in a lot of areas. Now we also can provide forecast, update current budget, and schedule information, thus the ripple effect with what we see here. We can monitor the implementation of approved changes. These are changes that have been through the Perform Integrated Change Control process, which is our next video in this sequence. We can provide status and progress information to program management if the project is part of a program. We could also do this at the portfolio or enterprise level, depending upon what is going on in the environment. And then we can ensure the project stays in alignment with business needs. In other words, if business needs say go this way and the project starts to go off that way, you can make adjustments accordingly. Now, when we think about the ITO table here, we're going to start out with any component of the overall project management plan. In other words, basically, what do we have in any sort of documents that describe what it is we're trying to do? So ultimately, we're going to be comparing work performance information to anything documented in any of these components. Basically, work performance information is my actual. Any components here are my baseline, and I compare the two to see how they align. Quality reports can be an input here as well, so we know if things are testing the way we expect. In other words, in quality, we are testing deliverables. So if they look like they're going good, then quality reports would reflect we're going in the right direction. If not, then it would indicate we've got a problem. And then the risk report is an input here as well, where we can look at any pertinent and relevant risk-related information as it relates to the baseline of the project versus actuals that are occurring, and how risks potentially can influence any of that as well. Now, work performance information is a key input here. This is information about what's going on in the project environment. I like to think of this as actuals. This is information about what's actually happening. And then expert judgment is having common sense here. If you see something going in the weeds, speak up and say, hey, we need to make an adjustment. If you see something that doesn't look like that big of a deal, don't sweat it, for example. Now, earned value analysis. Remember, analysis is always a tool and technique. Earned value analysis is key when applied. This is probably the first place you're going to see it, because when we think about what's going on here, you are comparing work done to should have been done, and work done to money spent to get it done. And so technically, you're going to set some stuff up in planning, but when you start to get into monitoring and controlling is when you can start tracking actuals against the targeted or the budgeted cost of certain things. A trend analysis, which way are you going? Yellow trending red, yellow trending green. Are you red or are you green, for example? And then work performance reports come out of here. You'll see more about this in the communication videos, but you could have progress reports, status reports, forecast reports, etc. Change requests could be created. Key phrase, could be. So if so, these are going to go to the next video in this series, Perform Integrated Change Control. And if approved, then they are implemented. Just because it's a change request doesn't mean we're automatically doing it. Any component of the project management plan can be updated as a result of monitoring performance. In other words, we make adjustments. The issue log can be updated as we see issues or as they resolve themselves. And the lesson learned register can be updated as we see anything that looks good to move forward with, to either make sure we want to repeat as much as possible or never repeat again. Situational question, a real-world application. Failure to effectively perform the monitor and control project work process can result in reactive rather than proactive project management.